They're up nearly 70% since the November election. Makes Elon Musk not just the richest man in the world, but maybe on his way to becoming a trillionaire at some point.
I actually loved that little kids come up to that truck and love it.
You're bailing on Tesla, though. Why?
I hate the product.
Longer term, Tesla has plans for full autonomy, so it's another step in that direction.
All that and more. So let's get to it. TSLA finished off the week higher than it's ever been, currently sitting at $435.98. Something tells me that all of those individuals that's been holding Tesla throughout the year, they more than likely celebrated last night. And if they're anything like me, that party's going to continue through the rest of the weekend. As I enjoy this win, I'm kind of curious to what the financial news media has to say about Tesla.
Take a look at shares of Tesla because they are now trading near an all-time high. They're up nearly 70% since the November election. Makes Elon Musk not just the richest man in the world, but maybe on his way to becoming a trillionaire at some point. Does the move, in your mind, make sense? And if so, how do you explain it?
Andrew, I think the market clearly has an impact from Elon Musk's close relationship and growing relationship with Donald Trump. I think what the market will focus on, though, over the next year is really their ability to drive better unit sales in the core auto business, bring out a lower priced car. If you can bring out a lower priced automobile, that helps to drive demand in that segment of the market. And so we'll have to see how this evolves. Ultimately, I think what will matter most to the stock is growth of units. I think Musk will play an important role, but it's going to come down to the performance of the business more than anything else, in my view.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, ladies and gentlemen. These individuals that are focusing primarily on the automotive side of the business, they're going to be happy because Tesla is returning to an era of growth when it comes to the automotive side. But you will miss the forest for the trees if that's all you're focused on, baby. When I look at the growth of the energy side of the house, I get absolutely giddy. No one, and I mean no one, likes to think about Tesla's energy division, Megapacks, Powerwalls, because it's nowhere near as sexy as talking about a $1 trillion opportunity when it comes to the robo-taxi. Optimus walking up and down hills, balancing itself when it's about to fall. But because Tesla gets most of their revenue from the automotive side of the house, if that is doing well, the stock will do well. But pretty soon, the automotive side of the house is going to become just as unsexy as the energy division. But that dependability will be the bedrock of why Tesla is going to be able to extend beyond automotive, beyond energy, explore strange new ways to become even more profitable.
We were talking just earlier this week about the fact that GM is effectively shuttered. I mean, the Cruise project is just not what it was supposed to be. And so now you have Tesla and you have Waymo. Do you say that they're the winners of this whole game and everybody else falls to the wayside?
I think it's a much bigger story than that. I think what you have here is really this transformation of the automobile industry, new business models. I think Waymo, having taken rides in Waymos, I think it's a very compelling experience. I think Uber has a very important role here to play. Their network, lining up supply and demand, I think remains valuable. I think you'll see partnerships between them and other players. I think Tesla, with their capabilities around full self-driving, those will get better and better. Ultimately, though, it's about creating value for customers. It's about creating new profit pools. GM will obviously continue to focus on its core business. They have an important role to play in the business. But when I look out, I see opportunities for several players.
In this burgeoning industry, there is room for everyone at the table. Everyone will eat, at least initially, right? Tesla's ability to come into a market or an industry and just dominate is unprecedented. It will be no different when we talk about ride-hail. Even in the Uber community right now, Teslas are king. They're preferred by the driver, they're preferred by the customer. Imagine if you're able to remove the driver and the ride is even more comfortable. The service that Tesla is going to provide is going to be effortless, intuitive even. And oh yeah, It's going to be the cheapest thing you could possibly get. The cost per mile with no driver. If you thought the margins on their battery electric vehicles were something to behold, you ain't seen nothing yet.
If you have pet peeves, I love a good pet
She
peeve.
has electric truck experience.
I do.
So she's
Cybertruck?
driven.
Not the Cybertruck.
Okay.
I'm a little bit obsessed with it. I feel like maybe you don't like it.
No, it was actually better than I thought it was. That's another thing that I drove this year. I actually loved that little kids come up to that truck and love it.
Yeah.
You know, anything that gets
it
people
looks
excited.
like a child drew it, and then it became a real life truck. So that makes sense that they would like
and
it.
it also reminds me a little bit of the DeLorean from the 80s, you know, from Back to
Yes.
the Future.
The
It's got that
stainless
same stainless steel flat lines. There's something that it's nice when cars make people feel something.
Yeah.
Maybe they make you feel hatred.
Yeah.
But, you know, at least they have some sort of emotional response.
I'm not sure why people have a visceral reaction to the Cybertruck, but in all honesty, this thing is amazing. Literally, the best thing on four wheels. Power, speed. It looks like CGI, but in real life. Every time you see one, you're like, what the f***? Not to mention it has all of the technology of the best Teslas on the planet. Technology is the new luxury. This thing has FSD, it has steer-by-wire, it has a 48-volt architecture. When you step up inside, it feels like you've been transported on a starship of the Federation. One of these things is not like the others.
Apple, Amazon, and Tesla all have relative strength indices over 70, indicating they're short-term overbought, but two of them are still a buy for our trader. Let's find out which ones in 3 buys and a bail. You're bailing on Tesla, though. Why?
I hate the product.
Don't let that hate in your heart keep you from experiencing the best thing on four wheels.
You know, my analyst Jesus and I, we went out to go see an Iron Maiden and in San Diego. I rented a Tesla to check it out. Everything about that car I hate. Every general manager, some of them are clients that run auto dealerships. You can make a lot of money doing auto dealerships, let me tell you. They all say the same thing. People are coming in and saying, is it morally okay if I switch back to gas? Because people don't want electric cars, they want a Tesla. It's an old design. It's up 50% since the election. I'm sorry. Elon Musk is going to make bank hanging out being a bro with Trump on SpaceX. Tesla is a car company. It's not a tech company. When I say valuations don't matter, there's a line in the sand, and Tesla just crossed it. So I'm not in it.
I know plenty of disgruntled Tesla owners, Lee, but do you not see how we're quickly moving to Robotech? Now, it might still be 6 or 12 or whatever months away, but they have to be in the pole position for what driving is going to look like eventually over the next 10, 15, or 20 years, don't you think?
15 or 20 years, but I'll wait for those earnings to come. When you're at, 130, 150, the PE doesn't even make any sense right now. Robo-taxis, all that stuff is going to take a long time. You're going to beat up, just like with green energy, into rules, regulations, state, municipal. I think it's going to be much more. Why do we not have hover cars? Walt Disney promised me hover cars by 1985. I think this robo-taxi thing is far away, and I think that the regulations are going to kill them.
So much emotion. Calm down, guy. No one's forcing anybody to drive an electric vehicle, especially one that's not named a Tesla. Most EVs are simply just lateral moves. Think about it. Chevy's gonna offer you an EV version of this, a hybrid version of this, and an ICE version of this. The only thing that'll be different is the powertrain. All of the technology that makes a Tesla special, if you could put it in an internal combustion engine, they would. Teslas are robots on wheels. These other EVs, they're just poor substitutes for what you already experienced. Like I said before, if the vehicle doesn't have FSD, it's not even on my radar. Tasha, could you please explain to the people why?
Tasha, in the studio, you want to break it down?
Sure. So Tesla started releasing the version 13 of its full self-driving software to early testers, employees. Why do we care about this? Well, Of course, longer term, Tesla has plans for full autonomy, so that it's another step in that direction, but it's actually quite an important step because this is the stack. So, previously they were on version 12. Version 13, which should have a number of iterations, is what they plan on launching a robotaxi network with. That will be next year. What's different about this than past software launches? The biggest difference is that you can start from park, it can shift, and you can park at your destination. So basically, you're getting the features of like what is actually an end-to-end drive for the first time.
I should have a 2025 brand new Model 3 AI4 sitting next to our AI4 Panda Model X. And the only reason I bought that vehicle, ladies and gentlemen, is because I believe the Model 3s and Ys will be at the forefront of this FSD technology. Hopefully, I will get to experience the highs and lows as the software continues to progress, further informing me about my position in TSLA. Panda's only on 12.5.6.4 right now. We haven't even experienced version 13. And I'm gonna tell you, that software is freaking amazing. The more features that Tesla continues to add will only improve its efficacy when it comes to disengagement and making the ride even smoother for potential customers.
All right, Tasha, we talked to a lot of people and a lot of skeptics out there. What do you think are some of the key things that people are still skeptical of with Tesla's ability to launch, and what are the answers to those questions?
That's a great question. I feel like often, so to be clear, FSD right now is not perfect, right? And I don't have version 13, but on my car, there's eye tracking technology. There still are interventions, is the summary point.
That's for damn sure. But it's gotten a whole lot better along the way. And does it even need to be perfect, Tasha?
And so I think often people say, well, okay, how are they able to launch when, I still have to take over in these specific scenarios, or when it doesn't work in bad weather or something. And I mean, I think a key thing that is maybe not talked about often enough is that they'll likely launch with remote operators. I mean, that's what Waymo does. That's what Cruise did. So it doesn't have to be perfect at launch. It just has to be good enough such that you can sub in this remote operator system when you need to. And of course, the more you do that, the more complex it's going to be and the more costly it's going to be. So they probably want to reduce the amount of time that the remote human operators help the car.
Ding, 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 ding. Tell her what she's won, Johnny. Your mother. Right. FSD is not perfect. The robotaxi will not be perfect. But it will be damn close. And I promise you, it will be very, very smooth for consumers. This is what's going to set it apart from any other players in this field. That and its ability to scale. I've never been in a Waymo, and I don't intend to travel just to experience it. The Tesla service will start off small. Palo Alto, Austin, a network area around their factories and places of business, and then it will slowly but surely expand. And like a snowball at the top of a mountain, it's going to get faster and it's going to grow. Eventually, it will be ubiquitous around the United States, North America, Asia, Europe. Have I mentioned that Tesla hasn't made a single dollar off a robotaxi fare just yet? Call me crazy, but I want as many shares as I possibly can before that happens. In conclusion, with Tesla at all-time highs, Wall Street still seems to be focused on their automotive side of the house. Don't get me wrong, it is important, but not nearly as important as their autonomous endeavors in FSD. In Optimus, they're still going to be selling cars. It's just the margins. Those are going to expand for a variety of reasons. In addition to just looking at Tesla like an automotive company, there still seems to be quite a bit of hate, vitriol when it comes to Elon Musk and Tesla products. This has got to stop. Do not let that hate in your heart prevent you from being in the best vehicle on four wheels, the safest vehicle on four wheels. To truly understand the autonomous opportunity that Tesla has in front of it, you need some exposure. It'll take some time to get acclimated to the Tesla ecosystem, but I promise you, once you've done it, you'll never want to go back. My advice? Grab your Teslas before the demand goes through the roof. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy.